Happy Sunday, everyone. I wanted to record my analysis for this week. As you can see, if we kind of do like a top down analysis, the quarter right now is looking pretty nasty. We've had a lot of volatility lately that's kind of been moving us in this broadening formation here. Um, and overall, we were stuck in a range, and finally, this month, we are starting to kind of break down. And on the weekly, we've been building some weekly imbalances over here that I feel eventually will get tested, whether it's this month or maybe next month. We are kind of approaching the bottom of this broadening formation. Yes, almost to previous quarter's low to kind of make it an outside quarter. If you look at the quarterly too, we are at a quarterly fair value gap right here where I can expect to either, if we keep respecting it, like just kind of tapping into this kind of 65, 82 level and not breaking below it. If you start to see some weekly or even daily wicks off it, then maybe the bottom is starting to set in. But if not, you can kind of see either we top the bottom of the broadening formation or we continue to test 50% of it and then maybe kind of linger here and maybe come back up. Or if the market really wants some aggressive movements to the downside, then around 63.81 would kind of fill it completely before maybe keep on going. So yeah, that's kind of, I have that level there. I also have this, it's really like right at 50% of it. You know, we've been kind of finding some support. So see, if you start to see some weekly wicks like this over here, then maybe the bottom is in, or we could see some relief to the upside. From a daily perspective, you can see we kind of we're in that range, and we still are, in the grand scheme of things, we're still kind of in this box right here. And so you can see we're approaching the bottom of it, and then we got to see, do we, like I said, continue to wick off it like we did here, and maybe even continue to be in this annoying compression, or do we start to test those levels here on the downside? Kind of even here, this could be like a nice little bottom. Overall, from a strike perspective, you know, we're in full time frame continuity to the downside. So I do expect us to continue to move down till eventually, you know, we set that bottom in and continue to push back up. From NQ perspective, NQ has a similar pattern. NQ did take previous quarter low before it pushed back up that day. Overall, it was showing more weakness, but it seems to be on a tighter compression. So keep an eye on NQ, because usually once it starts to show that strength to the upside, ES will follow, and similar to the downside, once it starts to break down, it'll kind of follow as well. So always keep an eye on NQ as you're trading ES. You see the wicks here, or the compression here is a bit tighter, and you have nastier wicks on the weekly compared to ES. And then let's look at VIX. I know there's always that controversy of whether you should do TA on VIX or not. I don't do very technical TA on it. I just kind of like to mark some levels of where it has retested before or look at patterns. For example, here I drew this gap from last year, and it kind of found a top there, and then here too it finally broke out of this pattern and continued to push up. So we shall see. We do have um, a lot of news, basically a lot of Trump news with all the war and oil. That's kind of been impacting um, the markets and could continue to probably keep VIX elevated up in the 20s until we start to see some less volatility from that. So always keep an eye on the news on that end, on the political end, because that definitely will impact us. And it's also going to be a very busy week because we have Wednesday core PPI and we have FOMC fund rates, and also we have VIX expiration. So VIX futures expire on the 18th, which coincides with all these. So personally, I've noticed I have better success trading the day after FOMC instead of trying to trade through the volatility. So I'll basically keep an eye on that, see how it goes, and then see if we can, if it's better to sit on hands that day and just wait for Thursday. I use Sadi's kind of way of trading, and if you look at the weekly, we've been in compression for a really long time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks, and we've been closing below the weekly EMA. So take a look at that. Pay attention to it. This is the swing ATR levels, so the monthly ATR levels, and mark this level. The negative 1 ATR is 6552. We can potentially hit that before the end of the month. So keep an eye on that. And then on the daily, SPX still, like, it's been almost, since January 20th, we've been in compression as well. And the VAMI finally started to form here after this conviction arrow. We're almost at the daily 200, so keep an eye on that. And keep an eye on this gap as well from November. So I noticed we kind of tapped into it, and then push back up. So let's see how we interact here to see ES or SPY. You can even see SPY's kind of similar. It did also tap the gap a little. ES actually also has been seeing some, kind of tapping that 200 EMA and then bouncing back. So let's see what happens this week with all of this. Once, like I said, with volatility with VIX this high, I do expect some pushes back up that can be aggressive. Keep an eye, especially if you start to see VIX open really high. Sometimes VIX comes back, the volatility comes back down, and you see some pushes to the upside. So let's see what happens. My plan this week, as it has been this year, has been to just day trade and kind of wait for the market to settle at least the first 15 to 30 minutes let that volatility kind of get out the way a little, and then let the market show its hands. Because, for example, here on Friday, we had the gap, and then we started to push up, and even on the daily, we did a golden gate. We opened the golden gate, it closed right here, and then immediately we started to come back down, and that was a signal to enter puts. I kind of waited a little bit over here, waited for us to get past the opening range, and then enter puts. So it's kind of better, especially when you see the 10-minute in compression. Personally, I like to wait and let the market kind of show its hand. But yeah, this is my update for this week. Hope everyone has a successful week, and be careful with the volatility. Thanks, guys.